You're listening to Podcast PXN, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Let's do this. What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 44. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roro. I don't know if you know this or not, but we are 7 days, 15 hours, and 59 minutes away from Halo Infinite.
I knew the 7 days part.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not counting down or anything. I mean, it's not,
no.
I don't have a problem. Yeah. Thank you to everyone watching live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN and you will find us on there. The topic of the show this week is the Xbox Game Showcase. We have some predictions to give, but first, the show always starts with the PXN news of the week, so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first item on the PXN news of the week is there is a Sony patent out there, Roro, that is suggesting that older PlayStation 1, PS2, and PS3 games that could be backwards compatible via the cloud. So I'm assuming PlayStation Now. Which this is definitely a welcome sight. Obviously, Microsoft has done very well with that, with backwards compatibility, but as long as Sony can pull this off, that would be, I think, very welcomed by the Sony fans out there.
Absolutely. I always, every console that comes out, like, I really hope that they include backwards compatibility in some shape or form. It's great that we have like Games Pass and Games with Gold and PS Now and stuff like that, services kind of dedicated to that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping that they continue to improve upon PS Now, because right now it's not so good, especially compared to Game Pass. Yeah. So yeah, well, I'm excited. I love backwards compatibility, and there's a lot of games that I've missed. So yeah.
And it is a little bit of a different approach to what Microsoft is doing. Apparently, I can't say that. But Microsoft is doing more of emulation on the Xbox itself, where essentially you play a 360 game on an Xbox One, and it essentially boots up a Xbox 360 on your console. Right. It's really weird, but like it's seeming to be more of a PlayStation Now type experience, where you're going to not have like that experience, but you're going to probably connect to a like server farm that essentially is like a emulation of PS1, PS2, PS3, etc. So I do think it's interesting. As long as it works well, I'm okay with it. Have you used the streaming part of PlayStation Now?
Nope, I have not.
I haven't either, so I'm not. I'm kind of curious about it. I've used the xCloud preview that Microsoft has going right now, and it works pretty decently. There is some noticeable latency, especially if you're playing like FPSs or something that requires like precise movement. So that it definitely would be something to kind of keep your eye on, but. Yeah, I don't know. Stadia does it, so I feel like if Stadia can do it, anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it, yeah.
So, moving on to more Sony news. Sony has reportedly increased its PlayStation 5 production from 5 to 6 million units to 10 million units due to the higher demand being caused by the COVID-19 pandemic right now. So this is really good news, in my opinion. I'm sure you agree that more consoles out there, so less of a chance that we don't get one, Roro.
Yeah. Will I be getting one at launch? Probably not, but it's great that if I do have the money to spend on it at launch day, I might be able to snag a console for sure.
Yeah.
And if they're having so many, then maybe after launch, when I for sure have enough money, I won't have to be scouring eBay or anything, that they'll have enough for people who are buying a little bit late as well. So yeah, I'm totally for this, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know if you just heard that, but I was playing the Kind of Funny video and I accidentally
Oh,
blared it. So
I didn't hear
that's why
that.
I just gave a weird reaction. But yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying. And it'll definitely, I just did it again. It'll definitely be good for the people that want to play on day one, for
Mhm.
sure. Speaking of Kind of Funny, moving on to our next story, Kind of Funny has announced that they have a brand new podcast that they are starting, Roro, Xbox centric podcast. This is actually interesting for me because I kind of fell off of Kind of Funny's bandwagon a little bit because I just felt like there wasn't a lot of content necessarily catered to me per se, as an Xbox main fan. Obviously, I like to hear their impressions and stuff on PlayStation stuff, but I do think it's finally interesting to finally see a podcast for Xbox, and it's including Alana Pierce from IGN, which I really liked when she was on IGN's podcast Unlocked when she worked with them, and as well, what is it, Snowbike Mike, which I'm not as
Yeah.
familiar with him, but Gary Whitta as well. Gary's just crazy, so it's always fun to have
Yeah.
Gary. So what do you think about this?
No, yeah, I'm super excited. Snowbike Mike is great. He's like I've watched a couple of his streams and he's been on other Kind of Funny content before, but he's like a longtime fan and community member of Kind of Funny. But he's super hype. He has got this like radio shoutcaster type of voice slash vibe, and he's like he always brings the hype, even if he's talking about the most mundane news story. He somehow makes it exciting. He's probably going to do a really great job as host. But yeah, he's obviously super into Xbox. Him and another Kind of Funny best friend, and MC Fixer, have been kind of pushing Kind of Funny in this direction of like, please make an Xbox podcast, and if you do it, we'll totally be interested. So I'm happy to see that they one did it, included Snowbike Mike, and obviously Alana Pierce is amazing, and Gary is awesome too. So I'm excited to see this as someone who isn't super into Xbox, and the Kind of Funny content does cater to me, like PlayStation. Tim is obviously into Nintendo.
Yep.
And all the other stuff. It'll be interesting to see how much I'll obviously tune into it, but it'll be interesting to see this side of Kind of Funny.
Yeah, agreed completely. And I always kind of wondered that because they don't really have like a Xbox, so to speak, person on their full-time staff. So I was always curious how they would do that, which they definitely did it in terms of part-time people and people that they're bringing in specifically for this, like Alana. But I think they really do have a good group of people here that they're bringing in to do this, and it's definitely going to be an interesting show, I think. So I think they're doing like a pilot, like with 6 episodes or something.
Yeah, over the course of, I think it starts Saturday, and 6 weeks from then, I'm guessing every Saturday following that Saturday.
Yeah.
It'll be 6 pilot episodes to see how it goes.
Yeah. Cool. And that comes at the perfect time for me going on vacation. I can listen to that. So that'll be cool. Moving on, we have more PlayStation news. Ghost of Tsushima has gotten some reviews coming in, quite a bit of reviews actually. It comes out on Friday, so just as a friendly reminder to everyone out there. And it has been reviewing very well, Roro. It's currently sitting at an 84 on Metacritic, which is very good. And a lot of people from the reviews that I've read, they've lauded the game's combat, said it's very good. The story's really good, and it's like the atmosphere, the art style, everything is very good. The only complaints that I've personally seen is like the stealth gameplay, I guess, isn't as good as it could be. Which that's kind of a minor complaint. Especially if the combat's really good, then I mean, who wants to do stealth then if the combat's really good? Just go into combat. So yeah, that sounds really, really promising. Are you thinking about getting this on Friday or waiting a little bit?
So we have another story on the list about another game that's getting reviewed as well. That's also coming up on Friday.
Yep.
That I was kind of trying to decide whether I pick up this game or I pick up Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
And after seeing the reviews for both of the games, I'm now leaning a little bit more to Ghost of Tsushima. And it's kind of interesting how my hype for them literally kind of switched.
Flipped.
I was sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, yeah, flipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Just I was excited for Ghost of Tsushima, but not like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this. Come on,
Yeah.
July 17th, hurry up, sort of thing. But after seeing the reviews, I was like, this sounds like a game I would definitely enjoy. It sounds like it has a pretty good challenge. The atmosphere looks super cool. The story looks intriguing. So yeah, I'm definitely down to pick it up on Friday for sure.
Sweet. And you kind of hinted at this a little bit, so I'll go ahead and move us into that, just to kind of have a seamless transition there. Paper Mario: The Origami King reviews have come out, so obviously, I think this is done decent. I think it's 81 on Metacritic right now, so that's pretty good. I've personally never been into the Paper Mario series. I've never played any of them before, but they've never really seemed like they would appeal to me. They're kind of like in that Japanese RPG style more so than what I would like. I know it's not really what that is exactly, but I don't know. It's just the art style looks super cool, and I love how everything like looks like paper mache-esque, and like some of the environments in the new game look interesting, but at the same time, some of them look like 3D, which is kind of weird mishmash with Paper Mario, so I'm not sure how well that works per se. But obviously, some people are enjoying it, so it has pretty good reviews. Have you seen anything about this, or like what are your... Yeah.
So like I said, my hype kind of switched for both of them. I was like super pumped for Paper Mario Origami King because it would have been my first Paper Mario game. I've heard amazing things about the Thousand Year Door, not so much about Color Splash and some other ones in between. So I wanted to give the series a try, and I certainly will, but maybe not on Friday. After seeing the reviews, a lot of people have been like, I've seen some pretty high praise of the game, but I've also seen some like lukewarm sort of maybe wait a little bit type of reviews as well. So after seeing how much praise Ghost has received and how very meh and in between Paper Mario is, I kind of switched. It still looks like a game that I would enjoy, but I'm just gonna wait a little bit for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like you're hurting for anything to play on the Switch, because I know you've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Yep.
So I've seen you tweeting about that, so I figured that would be the case. Moving on to more Nintendo news. Crytek has apparently confirmed that the Switch version of Crysis Remastered is still coming on July 23rd. So a joke that we made, Roro, that you specifically made, last week or 2 weeks ago, saying that they showed us the Switch version of the game or whatever, that might not actually be too far from the truth, because it's still coming July 23rd. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure this is the best platform to play this on. But if the rest of the platforms look like this, I'm not sure any platform is the best platform to play this on. So
that kind of sucks. That the gameplay that we saw, and I was joking as you were saying, like, oh man, this looks so bad. It must be the Switch version. Turning out to be kind of true. That okay, yeah, it is. We can't make this look any better on the Switch, so here you go. July 23rd, it's still coming, which kind of bummer, but understandable because of what the Switch can and can't do. But I don't know. I wasn't going to play it on the Switch anyway, but it does kind of suck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's definitely a big bummer. And man, just give us a freaking beautifully remastered version of the original Crysis and I'll be on board, but man, it feels like they're taking the lesser approach. I don't know. I wish more and more games that are getting remastered and remakes would take the Resident Evil approach, because Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake. In my opinion, that's the way it should be for all remasters and remakes, because just the simple up-res and stuff, that just doesn't cut it anymore, especially like in the current climate of games. Like, games look phenomenal. Like, look at The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, it's very different now. So
I agree. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it to do just that anymore. It's much better to do, as you were saying, a reimagining, or really raise the graphical standards. If you're just going to do that, make it like purposeful, that all I'm doing is making it look better, but really make it look better if you're going to just do that. But I agree that RE2 and RE3 remake are definitely the standards that we should be having for remakes now.
Yep, I agree completely. Moving on, we have some news out of Google. They have signed deals with Supermassive Games, who, if you may not know, is the developer of Until Dawn, and Harmonix, which you may know that name from Rock Band, the original creators of Guitar Hero as well, for exclusive Stadia games. Yeah. The funny thing is, I don't know what you think about this, but like, Harmonix makes games that require super precise input. Like, they require timing and input management. Like, you have to time things correctly in Harmonix's games in order for them to work well. So, like, how does that look in a Stadia atmosphere where you're not getting like instantaneous response times because you're playing from a cloud? You know?
Right.
I don't know.
There was the Stadia Connect earlier this week, which I had no idea was happening until like maybe minutes before it started.
Yeah.
But another pretty terrible showcase of what, there's nothing to be excited about, which kind of, it sucks, because I think the idea is awesome, but we're still waiting on a game, and I don't think there'll ever be a game that will make me go, man, I need to pick up Stadia. But I guess we'll see with Supermassive and Harmonix.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Like, is there going to be that exclusive game that makes me want to pick up Stadia for Stadia Pro or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, and you're not discounting Supermassive or Harmonix.
No,
it's just
not at all.
Yeah, they're great developers. It's just like, what is that gonna look like on Stadia? I don't know.
And I can't see it only being there. It says exclusive, but I feel like after some time, it'll eventually trickle to other consoles. I wouldn't want to keep my games hostage on Stadia.
Yes, I agree completely. I think we should be in a world where games release everywhere, but
that would be nice. Yeah.
We'll never get there. Double Fine, this is our next news story. Double Fine has cut, Double Fine originally cut boss fights from Psychonauts 2 until they were acquired from Xbox Game Studios. So this was a very interesting story that I thought would be interesting timing for the whole Xbox Showcase event coming next week. But Tim Schafer had talked about this, how essentially Microsoft came in at the perfect time, because they were stressed out with both budget reasons and, just studio reasons. Like, you're worried about your studio, this small studio, like whether the lights are going to be on like in the next couple weeks. Like, Tim Schafer talked about those things, which I thought was very interesting. And this just kind of points to that, like, Microsoft's funding Psychonauts 2 now. Now, Psychonauts 2 isn't going to be an exclusive game because it was started development before that happened. But it's still fantastic that Microsoft's acquisition is essentially making Psychonauts 2 a better game as a result. Yeah. I think it's very interesting to see stories like this. Like Insomniac, when they were purchased by PlayStation, obviously that was a big acquisition for Insomniac. Like, I just love seeing stuff like this. I mean,
it's great to see developers being supported by them. It is cool. Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm sure we will see Psychonauts 2 next week, I believe. So, Moving on to more Xbox news, Microsoft Flight Simulator has announced that they have a closed beta launching July 30th, and also the game is launching August 18th. So this game, let me just tell you, Roro, I played this game in a alpha. It was like a closed alpha test. I'm not sure if I'm even supposed to talk about it, but at this point, I don't. It's not a big deal. No one's watching it from them. At least I hope not. I played that like 3 months ago, something like that, 4 months ago. And man, that game is freaking beautiful. Like absolutely insanely beautiful. And I used to play the flight simulator games when I was a kid just to like have fun, like trying to figure things out and figure out how to fly these planes. I just thought it was super cool. And I launched that game, the new one, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I started the plane, I got it in the air, and then crashed about 5 seconds later. So there's just so much you have to learn in a flight sim, just because there's so many levers and buttons and all kinds of
things. It's like super realistic, right? It has like all the buttons on the roof and like the dashboard's full of more buttons.
Yes.
Yeah, but it looks intimidating.
Yes, it very much is. And it's launching on PC, but they said that it's coming to Xbox at some point, which I'm not sure how do you translate that to Xbox on the controller? I don't know how they do that. I don't know.
I definitely have no idea.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to see, because are they going to simplify the controls so that it's, not necessarily a flight sim anymore? It's more just a flight experience. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Keep your eye on there. Moving on to, we've got some news stories from the Ubisoft Forward event. So I kind of broke them down here at the end of our news of the week. So Watch Dogs Legion got some brand new gameplay in Ubisoft's event. I thought it looked actually pretty good. One of my friends, he's not a big Watch Dogs fan. He said, I wasn't that excited about it, but I was like, man, this looks super cool and super up my alley. Like, all the environments seem like they're a lot more densely packed than Watch Dogs 2 and the first game as well. And also, it seems like there's a lot more variety in terms of the gameplay, like with the hacking. And Watch Dogs 2 already kind of evolved that quite a bit from the first game, and this looks to do it even more. And the best freaking feature, Roro, that I think is in it is you can play as literally anyone.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it, I think, as well. And it's going to be interesting to see if that feature will get old. It seems like it's super fun, and it's a tall task as well. I can't believe that, like, anyone, like literally anybody in the city, you could take control of and join your legion. And I think that's pretty insane. I don't know if that's been done before. Probably not. That's why this is so interesting to look at. But yeah, I think that's going to be a super fun gameplay mechanic for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's going to be something to watch this fall for sure, especially since it's coming. Supposedly, we don't know the console dates yet, but this will probably be before the next gen consoles come out. So, because I think this is coming October 20 something. It's like the last.
I think I'm not. Yeah. I think 22nd. I don't remember.
Something like that. But you would think that would be before the next gen console, so that would be perfect time for me to get to play something like that. And then a couple weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, we get the new consoles. That'd be good timing.
October 29th, by the way.
There we go, October 29th. So maybe less than 2 weeks that I would have until the consoles, depending on when they come in November. But anyways, moving on, we have Hyperscape that got an open beta that went live, and it's actually live now from the Ubisoft event as well. Hyperscape's that new game from Ubisoft Montreal, the Battle Royale game that looked very interesting. I haven't checked it out yet, but it definitely piqued my interest a little bit. I probably won't have time to play it before I go on vacation, and obviously my gaming PC's here, so I probably won't play it for a little bit, but I'm definitely interested to kind of check it out. I know there's been some people complaining about like snipers on there and stuff, but I have seen some positive stuff come out of it as well. I'm not sure if you've seen anything or what you think.
I think it looks really cool. I like the style that they're going for. Obviously, the battle royale genre is definitely dominated by Fortnite, and you could say Apex maybe as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see the Ubisoft dive into this, and I think that it's unique enough to find its audience. I don't know if it'll beat Fortnite or anything like that,
Yeah.
if that's even a thing. But I think it'll definitely get its audience, and it'll be maybe in the top area on Twitch for a while, and yeah. But it's definitely something that I'm gonna give a try, especially that it's if it's free to play, which I think they said it is.
Correct. Yep.
And with a free battle pass, I think in the open beta right now, which is even cooler.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to try it. I haven't given it a shot yet. I really think that their Twitch integration and extensions that they have for streamers is really cool. How you can vote on different events.
Yes.
If you're in the chat, and yeah, I think that's super cool.
That is very cool. The one was like a low grav event or whatever.
Yeah.
That is super interesting.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what that looks like for people who aren't streaming. I'm sure there's still going to be ways to vote, or it'll be automatic, but it'll be interesting to see the differences, if there's a benefit to streaming while playing the game or not. It'll be cool to explore.
Yeah, I agree completely. It'll be interesting for sure. Moving on, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, and Roro, this is actual gameplay this time.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
Yep.
This isn't them saying gameplay and then not being gameplay. So I thought the gameplay looked very, very similar to Odyssey, which I know some people complained about. Personally, them comparing it to Odyssey is very exciting for me because I loved Odyssey. We've talked about this before. My only problem with Odyssey was just how big it was. You can never see everything. So I'm excited to actually see more from Valhalla, and I actually have a collector's edition pre-order because I'm a sucker and I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, in case you couldn't tell from all my statues behind me. But yeah, and the other interesting thing is they're kind of bringing back some stealth mechanics from the original before they rebooted it into like this more hardcore RPG style. They're kind of bringing back some of the stealth mechanics, like moving within crowds. Yeah, moving.
That looks cool.
Yeah, and that was actually one thing I was like, why did they take that out? Because that was actually interesting, like being able to like move within crowds to kind of stalk your prey, so to speak. I thought that was cool. And the dual wield, you can dual wield any weapons now, which is insane. Like, I don't even know what that's gonna look like. What if I have two giant axes? I don't know.
I think I saw somebody with two shields in the gameplay at one point. I was like, what are you doing? That's awesome that you could even do that. But
yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, the gameplay combinations with that is gonna be freaking hilarious.
I'm excited to see that stealth come back as well with the hood, and just that looked super cool. I remember playing, there was a multiplayer mode in one of the games a really long time ago on Xbox 360 or something, where you could play with your friends, and it was always fun to like disguise yourself as an NPC and then just like surprise attack them. I don't know if you remember playing the multiplayer.
Yes. The multiplayer I thought was actually one of the interesting parts of the original games. Yeah,
that was something that I really enjoyed as well. So it'll be cool to get back something similar, like with the disguising yourself in the crowd and stuff like that.
Yes, I agree completely. I wish they would bring the multiplayer back. I thought that was awesome. And like even how they did the multiplayer, they have the little compass thing that like points you in the direction of the person, but it doesn't like tell you where the person's at. It just kind of helps you. Like, that was super smart, and like, I miss that. Bring the multiplayer back.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think actually Sean always talks about that too, how he misses the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, and he's not even a big multiplayer guy. So
It's just that good.
yes, exactly. Moving on to our final announcement here from the Ubisoft event. Far Cry 6 has been officially revealed after being kind of leaked quite a bit before the show. But Giancarlo Espinosa, is that his name?
I think Esplanade. I don't know.
I
I'm
probably
sorry.
butchered that, but
Yeah.
the guy from Breaking Bad,
Yes.
Better Call Saul, etc., and Mandalorian as well, more recently. He's the main villain in Far Cry 6, and his son is also on the cover as well. As you see in the trailer, he kind of is prepping his son, so to speak, to take over control, I guess. And I think it's very interesting because they may be setting up for like future games here too. Like if they have him as the main bad guy in this game, and then the next game have his son, like time jump like 15 years or 10
That'd be
years or whatever.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just kind of see like the evolution of that character. I think that would be super interesting. And I think this game looks really, really good. They announced it for February of next year coming out, which is very soon actually for it being announced now. And man, it just looks good. I'm a big Far Cry fan when it was in the tropical settings like Far Cry 3 and 4. I think that Far Cry Primal and Far Cry 5 wasn't as good in the non-tropical settings. 5 in Montana and Primal in the prehistoric times. But yeah, I definitely think that this is kind of cool to see a going back to the roots of the series. What are your thoughts? Have you been a big Far Cry fan or?
Not until recent times. I tried 5. Enjoyed it. Like it didn't blow my mind in any way. I haven't played the earlier ones, but I have to try 3, of course.
Yes.
I know that's the one that everybody talks about is the best one because of the villain in it.
Voss.
So really, Voss, yes.
Yes.
So I definitely want to go back and give that a shot, just for the story, honestly, just to experience that.
I think
But
I just saw that was like $3 somewhere.
Yes, I saw. Yeah, I need to take advantage of that. I think it was. I don't know if I can still get it, but I think it was if you logged in with your Ubisoft account on the Epic Games Store while the show was going on, something like that. I think you had to have like a prerequisite to get the $3 off. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
Have to look into that a bit more. But yeah, if it is $3, still definitely gonna pick that up. But I've definitely been in the mood for this type of game, like open worlds, go crazy, do a bunch of missions, climb towers. I'm just in the mood for something like that. It sucks that I have to wait a little while, but it looks. The story looks really cool. This actor is phenomenal, of course.
So good.
So I'm excited to see what the story might entail.
Yes, I agree completely. He does an absolutely phenomenal job as villain. Like he literally he's the perfect bad guy. Like
Yes.
I don't know what it is, his gravitas, like his voice, everything. He's just so powerful.
Yeah.
I love it. So, very worthy successor to Voss many years later. Moving on to the games we are playing. Roro, I am sorry to disappoint you. My games we're playing list is very, very slim this week because I've been busy doing other things and preparing for vacation and all kinds of stuff, preparing my house for vacation, etc. You don't want to hear about that. But I started playing Mafia 2 Definitive Edition the other night, which I always talk on this podcast about how I love Mafia 2. So here's the thing. Some games I feel like don't hold up as well as other games do, and I feel like Mafia 2 is in the situation where it does not hold up as well now as it did when I played it 10 years ago. It feels very empty, like the world feels very empty now when you kind of roam the streets and such. Uh, the voice acting and such, the performances weren't as good as Mafia 3, for instance. So it's definitely, it kind of tainted my my vision of Mafia 2, I guess. I guess I shouldn't have done that to myself. But that just kind of happens with some games, that they don't necessarily hold the test of time as well as, like, when I go back and play Halo Combat Evolved, I could go back and play that a million times and it would
Right.
hold up every time. Whereas this, I don't feel like holds up as well. So I just had to report in on that little bit of disappointment. But I think instead of that, so I started that. I think I'm going to instead kind of ditch that, so to speak, and go back to Mafia 3 and start over my campaign on there, because, gosh, I started that 2+ years ago. I wouldn't know what's going on, but I really loved the story when I was playing that. The main problem is the gameplay, but I just want to experience that story
Yeah.
for how good it is. So I'm probably going to do that next, personally.
Nice.
Yep, that's it.
What I've been playing is, of course, some more Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I feel like my list is pretty samey each week, but yeah, right now I'm still playing some more Animal Crossing. I got a new villager this week. A villager that left was Snooty. I was totally fine with saying goodbye to her. I was hoping that she would leave, so I got a new villager this week to join our little island family. So that was kind of the highlight of this week's playthrough of Animal Crossing.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. And Destiny, of course, doing the little quests here and there as we gear up for the September expansion. And yeah, that's about it. I'm thinking about jumping back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I'm feeling to play something like that right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's such a good game too.
Yeah.
You could literally go back to that game for years. Like, I mean, it probably wouldn't get old either. There's so many different places in that game. It's insane. But yeah, probably I won't be playing it by next episode, because next episode will hopefully be next Thursday for the Xbox event. I'll be on vacation, but the week after, hopefully, I'll be playing Ghost of Tsushima when I'm back home and I can play on my PS4, and I'm sure you will be doing the same.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yes. So, very excited for all of that. But let's move on to the topic of the show, the Xbox Games Showcase predictions, Roro. This has been the moment that I've waited 5 years for. Halo freaking Infinite gameplay, Roro. 5 long years.
Finally happening.
Yes. 343 did confirm that Halo Infinite's campaign will be shown at the event, which is, I think that was kind of a given already. But I do think we'll see a sizable chunk from that game's campaign. I think it will not, when I say sizable chunk, I mean like 15-minute demo or something like that, or 20-minute demo out of an hour and a half long event. I think it will definitely have a big presence, and I think there's definitely a chance that we get a teaser for multiplayer with maybe a beta coming in August or something like that, to kind of tie into their August event that is being rumored right now for Xbox Series S being announced. So that's kind of my first prediction there, so to speak, is Halo Infinite obviously will be the star of the show, and I literally can't wait to freaking see that game. It's been a long time coming. I've been saying it for freaking years, Roro. Nobody listens. This is 343's Halo 3, and Halo 3 is the greatest video game of all time for me. So I'm very excited.
Damn.
This is huge for me. So that's my first prediction. Yes, I'm throwing it back to you now.
All right. So my first prediction All right, this is a wild one, so
Okay.
stick with me.
All
We're
right.
going on a little ride here.
All right.
This is definitely not going to happen, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Okay.
So, do you remember the beginning of this year where there was a leak for Platinum Games where you click on the link and it'll take you to their site? It was a blank page with 4 numbers, and it was just to get everybody hyped for 4 announcements for Platinum Games. Do you remember when that happened?
Oh,
And then we found out that the first one was the Wonderful 101.
Yes. And
For the Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Steam.
yes.
That was their first announcement. And their second announcement was they're going into self-publishing, their first self-published game, which was their like kaiju / Pacific Rim looking game. We haven't seen the gameplay yet, I don't think. It was just like a really cool cinematic trailer. And I think it's called Project A Go-Go or something weird like that. So they don't have the official name yet, but they're working on a game.
Yeah.
And their third announcement, which has been postponed. You think you know where I'm going
Yeah.
with this? The third announcement was Tokyo Games. They're moving their studio to Tokyo. And obviously that's been postponed because of the whole pandemic thing. And the fourth announcement, which would have been their last announcement, if it wasn't an April Fool's joke that hurt us all, and we're like, what the heck is this? Nobody liked that. But it was an April Fool's joke. So technically they haven't done their fourth announcement yet. And if you go on their website, they have a 5th slot open. So originally it was 4. Technically they haven't done all 4 because their 4th one wasn't a real one.
Yeah.
So my prediction for their 5th announcement,
I know what you're doing.
is Scalebound is coming back.
Yeah.
Scalebound is returning. They're working on Scalebound. Definitely going to be showed off at the Xbox conference. And I was so bummed when they canceled that. So they must be working on it. They have to be.
Yeah. I knew you were going there. I think people would be excited to see Scalebound return, but I definitely don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, you never know. Crazier things have happened. David Jaffe was famous for saying that Twisted Metal didn't exist, and then he walked out on stage and announced Twisted Metal. So you never know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
Do you want me to give my real one, or do you want to
do what?
You want to go next? I guess that's my first one.
Oh, okay. All right. So my next one is Fable Reboot, which this is an easy one because it's been freaking leaked all over the place.
That's on my list.
It's a leakier boat than I don't know, the Far Cry 6 announcement. Fable Reboot finally being announced by Playground Games, and I think it will give a release date of fall 2021. So I think we may get like a teaser, like a CG teaser, so to speak, for Fable. I think it'll be a Fable reboot and not a sequel, just to be clear. So that's my thoughts. And I'm very excited to see what Playground does with this, because Forza Horizon compared to Forza Motorsport, Forza Horizon is absolutely my bread and butter because I love like open world experiences like that. And I love what they do with Forza Horizon. It's a more arcadey version of Forza. As opposed to Motorsport is more of a track racing. So I'm interested to see how they use that open world expertise on an RPG and see what they can do for Fable, because they've acquired a lot of talent over the last 3 years or so for their second studio that's working on Fable. So I'm very, very excited for this.
For sure. Yeah, that was on my list too. I'm definitely expecting some sort of news out of Fable as well. As you said, it's leaked, so it's probably going to happen.
Yes.
It's probably more likely than Scalebound.
Yeah, probably so.
So my next one is Cuphead DLC, which has been announced for a while now.
Yes.
Obviously, Cuphead takes a little bit longer to develop because it's all hand drawn, and you're throwing in gameplay on top of that. It's going to take a while, but I can definitely see them showing off just a little bit, even if it's not ready, just to like let us know that they're still working on it. Because I don't expect it to be anytime soon because of the reasons I just said. But I think that they should show off a little bit of what they're working on at the showcase, and I think this would be a great place to do it. Just a little small tease.
Yes, I agree completely. And yeah, I don't know. It's insane. It's insane. I don't know when. I don't know. I just want it all, Roro. I want it all. I want it all. I can't get enough of this. Uh, my next one, I think this is kind of an interesting one because we just got the announcement of Everwild at EXO 19 in, when was that? December? October? I don't know. Sometime in the late part of last year, Rare announced Everwild, and I think we will get a technical alpha. So not a beta, not a demo, nothing like that. I think we'll get a technical alpha, maybe like with Xbox preview players of 2021. And that's for the technical alpha, not for the game launching, with new footage from the game as well. I think this game could be interesting because obviously with Sea of Thieves, Rare took a lot of risks and did a online connected world, and it kind of looks like Everwild maybe taking what they learned from Sea of Thieves and kind of applying that differently. It's still kind of up in the air what Everwild actually is, but it definitely showed a lot of foliage, and I loved the art style that they used, and I loved all the animals that they showcased in their trailer. So I'm just intrigued to see what else Rare can show us that isn't Sea of Thieves, which, to their credit, they've done a phenomenal job supporting Sea of Thieves. They've had monthly updates ever since the game launched, and they've added so much content to that game that it's unreal. Definitely applaud Rare for doing that. So very excited to see what else they have to offer from Everwild.
So my next one is definitely in my wheelhouse of games that I like to play, but I think we'll see some more, or our first look, I guess, at extended Destiny Beyond Light gameplay.
Ooh.
Ever since they separated from PlayStation exclusives and Activision, at least recently,
yes,
a lot of their ads have been the Xbox logo is what's showing first. Like they don't show PlayStation, they don't show Steam. Obviously, doesn't have a weird thing like that. But every time I see a Destiny ad for the next DLC, it always starts with the Xbox and the logo coming out. Like I feel like they've gotten a little bit closer again. Bungie obviously has a long history with Xbox, so I can definitely see them teasing, or not teasing, but showing off a little bit more Stasis gameplay at this event. Maybe another story trailer if they don't want to show off gameplay, take up too much time. Maybe just another story trailer. I could definitely see that happening as well.
For sure.
But I think we're going to see a little bit more Destiny content. I think Bungie usually is very open with when they're going to be showing more content.
True.
Recently, they've been keeping it a little bit closer to the chest and announcing it closer to the actual event. So I feel like either Thursday this week, we'll hear an announcement from them saying, hey, we're going to be at the Xbox thing, because on Thursday is their This Week at Bungie, where they share what they've done this week and what's to come. So I feel like either this week or next week, Tuesday, which is the reset day in Destiny, where they provide new content, we'll hear from them that, hey, we're going to be at the Xbox showcase. Let's tune in and see a new trailer.
Yeah. I actually really like that one because especially since some viewers, listeners probably wouldn't know this, Phil Spencer is actually a huge Destiny fan. He plays a lot of Destiny and talks about Destiny a lot. So that would definitely be a partnership that would make sense, especially from the history standpoint, but also because Phil loves Destiny and I see him talking about it all the time. So that makes a lot of sense, and they haven't really shown a whole lot from Beyond Light besides their digital event that they had. So
and it wasn't a lot of, you're right, they didn't show that much. They showed like a trailer and that's it. They still have a lot of gameplay and mechanics to show off still.
Yeah, absolutely. So very good one. Roro. I have one more that I have. I'm not sure what you have, but I have Obsidian's new RPG will probably make me lose my damn mind, Roro. So, this is the Pillars of Eternity team, which is that Kickstarted game that Obsidian had kickstarted a long time ago. This is that team that's building this RPG. The the Outer Worlds team is a different team, separate team, and the Grounded team is a tiny team. It's only like 10 people. That wasn't a pun for Grounded's gameplay of being miniaturized, but it's a very small team. It's only like 10 people. So this is their other big team, and I am very excited because Obsidian's history of RPGs, loved Fallout New Vegas, loved South Park: The Stick of Truth, and loved Outer Worlds. So I'm very, very interested to see what their next RPG is and see what kind of new IP they can bring to Xbox. So I'm very, 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 very excited.
Yeah, I hope to see something from them too, for sure. They, as you said, make some really great open worlds or RPGs and great stories as well. So I'm definitely excited to see what they have next, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have really any more games or announcements. Just like kind of a question or a discussion point for you.
Yeah.
So the Xbox demo event is happening in this time.
Correct.
How likely do you think it is that we see like a Halo demo or a Halo multiplayer at the very least come out during this time?
That is actually a very good point. And I think I tweeted this out or something. I put it somewhere, but that is a very good point. I think there definitely is a chance that there is a Halo multiplayer beta that they announce at this event that then you can play instantly on the Game Fest demo reel or whatever they're calling it that they have already announced for that week. I definitely think that's a possibility. If that happens, may God help me, because my internet is not good. It's probably not going to be phenomenal over there. It'll probably be all right, but it's not going to be phenomenal. I'm going to have to wait 20 minutes to download like 300 meg or something, and I'm going to be like losing my mind. But yeah, there's a real chance of that. I don't think they'll do like a campaign demo, so to speak. Right. I could be wrong, but yeah, and it's never been something they've done before. But Bonnie Ross did say after the Halo Master Chief Collection launched as a disaster, she did say that no Halo game would ever launch again without a beta. So it's now July 15th, and we've heard nothing about a beta. So there's definitely a chance that it gets announced next week, and we actually get our hands on it next week, which
nice.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool for people who are at home.
Not so much for Daniel.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Honestly, it's just very exciting to finally have Halo news again, because as a huge Halo fan, I know how important this game is for not only Xbox, but for 343, because I know 343 often gets a lot of crap, and sometimes it's undeservedly so, because yes, Halo 5's story was a disaster, and it definitely set the wrong expectation with the marketing. The marketing was phenomenal, like literally one of the best marketing campaigns I've ever seen, but then the game wasn't that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they bring the fans back, and more interestingly, because I think the campaign will be fine, I think how they bridge the gap between old fans of the multiplayer and new fans, combining the armor abilities and all of that, it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of manage everything. But yes, I'm very excited. I cannot wait.
Me too.
So, Cool. Anything else you want to say before we close out the show for the Xbox event next week? Is there anything that you would see that if you saw this that you would guarantee yourself to buy an Xbox Series X? Well, I guess that's the problem. You already own a gaming PC, so you would just play on your PC, correct?
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah.
So that's the thing we always talk about, like console wars and all this stuff, but it's like really it's not as simple as just console wars anymore, because there's more than just one way to play. You can play on PC, you can play on xCloud, you can play on your Xbox One, you can play on an Xbox Series X. There's just so many different layers that I don't know. It's a complex beast, but again, people just don't start console wars. Just
mean, yeah. Just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, just enjoy your games on the platform that you want to play on. That's it. So cool. All right.
Simple as.
Yes. Thank you to everyone joining us both live on YouTube and on podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Music. Thank you, Roro, so much for the show. It was a really good show. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Roro's going to have a new exit here. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
See ya. Nice.